Hi. I just went on a nature walk with my dad and there were so many pretty colors of fall leaves, so I decided to pick a couple and I'm gonna try to make watercolor paint out of them. So let's see how that turns out. So the first thing I'm doing is drying out my leaves. I use the microwave method for this, which is just you smother your leaves between two pieces of paper towel and then put something heavy on top. And then you microwave your leaves in 25-second intervals until they're nice and dry and crusty. Now I'm going to grind them up in my mortar and pestle and make sure they get into a very fine powder. Any really big chunks of leaves will show up when you make the paint. But to make sure that my pigment is really fine, I'm using this thing. I think it's meant for tea, but I'm using it to sieve my pigment just to get rid of any really big chunks. Then you're left with a really nice fine pigment. Now I'm gonna make paint out of it. It's really simple. You guys have probably seen me make paint before, but essentially I'm gonna mix the pigment with a watercolor binder. I have a whole video on how you can make watercolor binder if you're interested. And then I'm gonna use my muller, which is just a heavy object with a flat bottom, and I'm gonna go over the pigment until it's decently smooth. Then I scrape it up with my palette knife, and there you go, you're left with a decently well looking natural pigment paint. I have to admit though, the swatch of this red paint was a little bit disappointing. I was expecting it to be more red, but it kind of just looks brown. I'm now going to repeat this process for all of our fall paint colors. Now, I want to talk a little bit about these organic watercolor paints I'm making. These paints will never be as pigmented or as bright as paints you buy from the store. Obviously, paints you buy from the store have synthetic colors in them. They were made in a factory to be very bright and bold and pretty, while natural colors are more organic and toned down. Also, these paints aren't going to be very smooth because they are made out of organic materials. It's really hard to get the plants really fine and make the pigment perfectly smooth. So there's a few little chunky bits in this paint, but I don't mind it because when I paint with these, I kind of like the little texture that they give. I believe there is a way to make pigment from organic materials, but that involves some chemicals. And I don't know, I just find it really weird to make paint from organic things with synthetic chemicals. No hate to anyone that makes pigment this way, it's just not for me. I much prefer the organic route. Also, in case anyone is wondering, I did not go into nature and pick these leaves from alive trees. All these leaves were either on the ground or would have fallen to the ground in a matter of days. So don't worry, I didn't deforest a whole section of a park. I picked up what I could off of the ground. I've made a lot of organic paints before. I made a whole series of me making paints out of flowers, and I have to say, flowers are much more pigmented and vibrant as opposed to these leaves. I found when swatching the leaves, they were more sheer in color than flowers. I'm not quite sure why that is, but out of all the paints I made in this video, this yellow one that I'm making right now has to be my favorite. It made such a perfect lemon yellow, and it was decently pigmented, which I was really surprised about. It's kind of funny though, because I crushed up so many yellow leaves and only got a very small jar of pigment. I guess when you crush everything up really fine, there actually isn't much volume to the leaves. So if you wanted to make a big batch of natural pigment, you might want to go rake your lawn. Speaking of which, these paints smell like how leaves smell when it rains out. Does that make sense? Like, you know, when all the leaves have fallen off the tree and it rains, so it just smells like kind of decomposing leaves. I kind of liked it though, it got me in the fall mood. The last few years, I haven't really been in kind of the fall Halloween-y spirit, probably because of the things that have happened over the past couple years. But this year, I'm really making an effort to try to bring back the Halloween spirit to my life. My mother always goes full out for Halloween, like she puts up so many decorations, she makes Halloween loot bags, she carves pumpkins. To her, Halloween is just as important as Christmas. So I've kind of been helping her, and also I've been going on lots of nature walks to see all the fall colors, and I've been eating so much pumpkin pie, and I can finally say that it feels like Halloween again. And just going on a little nature walk with my dad to collect these leaves was so much fun and brought me back to my childhood. But let me know, do you guys have any special fall traditions? In my house, it's always a must to bake those little Pillsbury cookies, like the sugar cookies with the pumpkins on them. Eating those is just like peak fall to me, and watching all the Halloween Town movies. Now, I'm just finishing up these fall watercolor paints. The last one is this orange one, and I think it turned out pretty cute. It's a nice orange, it's not super vibrant. And here are all the swatches of the paints together. I think they turned out alright, like a few of them better than others. Anyways, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you want to see more videos like it, comment down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.